All is well. I know. Who's in charge of the music? They got it going on. It's Irene Holcomb tonight. She's usually out there with her driver.
Right. No pivot.
Nope, can't do it. So that's why boots are so much good for me. I can wear these shoes. See that? Try to get out of here. Program your name. This here ordinance authorized issue. It's 2A. This here resolution on the Pelican, that's 5. Authorization for the Wagner people, that's gonna be 6. And this is gonna be 7, the excavator. It's authorized now to negotiate the front backward. 7. That's it. With them with the rest of them.
Good evening. As all of you know, it's always our goal to start sharply on time. We are running a few minutes late this afternoon, so we ask you to accept our apology. I think we were about 4 minutes late. We just had quite a bit of business to take care of in the back this evening. Thank you all for being here. As always, we're going to open up with our speakers who are speaking on agenda items, and we have one with us tonight, and that speaker is Mr. John Finley, and he is speaking against agenda item number 3. Mr. Finley, you have 3 minutes.
Hello, my name is John Finley. I am currently running for mayor of Pine Bluff as a libertarian. I want to know, is it the policy of the city to commit perjury on a standard, as part of standard business? Yes or no?
No.
If an employee is committing perjury as part of their daily work, what should happen to that employee?
It hasn't been proven.
I've got proof right here.
Well,
Would you like to see it?
Not for us. That
Okay, that's fine.
An employee is committing perjury on
All
a
right.
daily basis.
Okay. Well, I have some evidence here of ongoing perjury by Mr. Lockett in code enforcement. It's been going on for a long time. I've told you about it before. I've gotten up here and talked about it before. And I've got a couple of different pages here that show that things were promised to be sent by a certain date and then notarized on a date after that date, which I don't think is possible legally without committing perjury. If you say you've mailed something, one of these letters, by a certain date, and it's notarized after that date, there's something really wrong. How can you trust anything that comes out of code enforcement when perjury is happening as part of standard operating procedure? Now, tonight, you're going to be voting to put liens on properties. One of those properties is a property of mine, where I'm being charged, I believe, $271 for mowing and cleanup. But how do I know that was even done? I haven't seen any evidence of it. I went by and I saw evidence that one of my fences was destroyed. Is that part of the cleanup that was done? I don't know. Maybe. I can't trust anything that comes out of code enforcement. I'd like to read a letter that I wrote and handed to Mr. Lockett on April 29th. I am writing to formally request that code enforcement cease mowing and enforcement actions on my properties located in Pine Bluff without a court order. I am concerned that my rights as a property owner are being infringed upon through what appears to be selective enforcement of ordinance requiring property owners to cut weeds. I contest the validity of this ordinance as it imposes arbitrary standards on property aesthetics and maintenance. Moreover, I perceive it as an unjust imposition on property owners, tantamount to an unwarranted tax. The resources expended on enforcing and complying with such regulations could be better allocated to endeavors that truly benefit the community rather than engaging in what I view as unproductive and burdensome activities. As a resident of Arkansas, a state proudly known as the natural state, I believe in the value of allowing nature to thrive on my properties. I am deeply unsettled by the imposition of regulations that dictate how I should landscape my own land. The essence of property ownership, in my view, includes the liberty to cultivate and maintain it according to one's personal preferences, provided it does not pose a threat to public safety or infringe upon the rights of others. Additionally, upon fine reading of the International Property Code, sections 302.1 and 302.4 refer to exterior property, not vacant land. Section 301.3, which specifically mentions vacant land, requires only that property be clean, safe, and sanitary. I am committed to engaging constructively with local authorities to address any legitimate safety or public health concerns regarding my properties. However, I request that any enforcement actions be based on clear legal grounds and conducted through proper judicial channels. I believe that this approach is essential to uphold the principles of fairness, due process, and property rights that underpin our legal system.
Thank you, Mr. Finley.
This isn't going to be a good thing. I believe you should not put these liens on these properties.
Thank you so much.
The city possibly faces a class action lawsuit if you do not have Mr. Lockett resign and re-examine every single lien and enforcement action and mowing action that you have charged against people in the city under his watch. You should resign, Mr. Lockett.
This ends our public speaking for this section. At this time, we're going to call our meeting to order. Our invocation is going to be brought to us tonight by the Associate Pastor of First Missionary Baptist Church, Warren Clark. Is he with us? Very good. Thank you, Reverend Clark. If you'll come forward for our invocation, we're asking everybody to stand and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father God, we come tonight, oh God, to be on one accord, oh God. Father, we realize that we can't do nothing without you, God. God, we just thank you, oh God, for giving us the opportunity to do what's right for our city, oh God. Continue to bless our leadership, oh God, to continue to do it according to your will, oh God. Because, God, we know that when you're in control, God, everything is going to be decent and in order, oh God. Keep down, frustration and argument, oh God. Put your peace in their mind, God. Harmony in their mind, God, that they are able to do according to your will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to thank you for your order. I'd like to thank you for your patience. I'd like to thank the officer for his service. I don't want you all to think that we are ignoring people, but we are not here to debate and argue with people. We refuse to do that. Reverend, I thank you for including in your prayer peace and order as we move forward with the business of this city. Thank you so much for your powerful prayer and being with us tonight. We appreciate that. Okay, next we should have a roll call. We're going to have this roll call by our Deputy Clerk, Ms. Barbara Cage, in the absence of Clerk Roberts.
Councilmember Mays.
Here.
Councilmember Holcomb.
Here.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Here.
Councilmember Lockett.
Here.
Councilmember Brown Senior,
Here.
Councilmember Shaner,
Here.
Councilmember Frazier. Here. Councilmember Brunson.
Here. Everybody's present. Each of you should have a copy of the minutes from the July 1 meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that the minutes from July 1 be approved as presented. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Next, we're going to move into our committee reports. Our first report will come from Councilmember Brown Jr., representing Councilmember Mays, and that's Ways and Means.
Thank you, Mayor. Ways and Means met just before this council meeting. Tonight, we have 6 budget adjustments for the council to consider. The first budget adjustment is coming from the Finance Department. Well, it's a request from urban renewal. The total budget adjustment is $110,630. This is coming from the Downtown Multifamily Housing Fund, and it's going to the 6 and Main project as well as the Neighborhood Development Program. I move that we approve this budget adjustment.
It has been moved and properly second that we approve a budget adjustment coming from urban renewal in the amount of $110,630. The floor is open for discussion.
Yes, I have something there.
Councilmember Mays.
Yes, I'm gonna support this, but I'm watching it very closely. They steadily get money, spending it in the city of Pine Bluff, and it's still looking bad. I'm gonna watch it, but go ahead.
Okay. I would recommend that you go down and look at the 6 and Main Street project. I don't know if you've done a walkthrough down there or not, but that would help you to understand. Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of this budget adjustment, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Okay, any object? Okay, hearing none, budget adjustment approved.
Next budget adjustment is coming from the City Attorney's Office. That total budget adjustment is $7,000. It's coming from dues and subscriptions, and it's going towards office supplies. I move that we approve this budget adjustment.
Second. It has been moved and properly second that we approve a budget adjustment in the amount of $7,000 coming from the City Attorney's Office. The floor is open for discussion. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor of this budget adjustment, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Budget adjustment approved.
Next budget adjustment is coming from Human Resources for the Summer Youth Program. Total budget adjustment is $3,000, and this is going from the revenue account of the Summer Youth Program to the expense account. I move that we approve this budget adjustment.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we approve the budget request for a $3,000 donation going to Human Resources toward the Summer Youth Program. The floor is open for discussion. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor of this budget adjustment, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Budget adjustment approved.
All right, next budget adjustment is for a 2023 carryover budget to 2024. This is coming from various departments. The total budget adjustment is $1,610,590.71. I move that we approve this budget adjustment.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that we approve a budget adjustment, and this is 2023 carryover money from the grant fund to 2024 carryover in the amount of $1,610,590.71. The floor is open for discussion. Questions? Hearing none. All in favor of this budget adjustment, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Budget adjustment approved.
Next budget adjustment is coming from the Street Department. That total budget adjustment is $301,296. It is coming from various line items, mostly general fund transfer, and it is going to various line items within the Street Department. The biggest sum going towards overlay. I move that we approve this budget adjustment.
Second. It's been moved and properly second that we approve a budget adjustment coming from the Street Department, and this is moving money around in the account in the amount of $301,296. The floor is open for discussion.
Yes, yes.
Councilmember Mays?
Thank you, Mayor, for watching it. I just want to say, I've been watching the streets since I've been elected. And we have to do a better job with our streets. Now, I'm gonna support this. But some of the roads are terrible. I mean, can I get a witness? I mean, I'm gonna support it, but I want you all to watch it a lot closer. I'm watching this. I'm always outvoted. But we can't, it's the only city in the world you go out on the street and the road moves. I mean, really? Go ahead.
Thank you for those comments, but I think, what we're doing now is an attempt to improve the roads, and we have done several overlays recently. We are working and moving this in the positive direction. Can't do everything at once, but we're working on it. So any other comments or questions? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor of this budget adjustment, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Budget adjustment approved.
Sixth and final budget adjustments coming from the executive department, and this is for project reallocation. The total budget adjustment is $1,910,612.84. And it's coming from the Highway 63 project as well as the 73rd Avenue project. I move that we approve this budget adjustment.
Second.
It has been moved and properly second that we approve a budget adjustment coming from the 63 and 73rd and University Housing, sewer projects. And this is to complete the university project in the amount of $1,910,612.84. The floor is open for a discussion or questions. And I know some people were wondering how we got there, because we started out at the 155 and the Highway 63 project and the Highway 79 project had a balance, and we're taking from that $469.35 to complete the university project, which is the 155,588. So if there are no questions, all in favor of this budget adjustment, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Budget adjustment approved.
Mayor, that concludes Ways and Means.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. Ordinances and resolutions, Councilmember Councilmember Holcomb substituting for Councilmember Mays.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 4 agenda items. Number 1 and number 2 are both ordinance. They will be completed on tonight. Both 3 and 4 are resolutions. They will be completed on tonight. If we all will look into our packet, we will have an ordinance 2A, and which will have to be voted to be added to the agenda. An ordinance authorizing an issuance of a lease agreement to provide short-term financing under Amendment 78 to the Arkansas Constitution for the acquisition of certain tangible personal property to 2 Elgin Pelican street sweepers and prescribing other matters relating thereto. I move that this ordinance be added to the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a lease agreement to provide short-term financing under Amendment 78 to the Arkansas Constitution for the acquisition of certain tangible personal property, which would be 2 Elgin street sweepers, and prescribing other matters relating thereto. The floor is open for a discussion. Any questions? Okay. If not, I think we're going to finish this ordinance tonight.
Yes, ma'am, this will be completed on tonight. And this will be 2A.
Okay.
And agenda item number 5.
If we're going to finish it, we have to do the second reading.
No,
Oh, we're adding it to the
Yes,
agenda.
ma'am.
Just add it. Okay, got it.
Agenda item number 5
We gotta do the roll call.
Yeah, you got to do the roll.
Okay, we're adding, it has been moved that we add this item to the agenda. Madam Clerk, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Senior.
Aye.
Councilmember Shaner.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier. Aye. Councilmember Brunson.
Okay. Item added to the agenda.
And our next agenda to be added, our next item to be added to the agenda will be a resolution authorizing the acquisition of 2 Elgin Pelican street sweepers for the street department. I move we add this agenda item to the agenda.
Second.
Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Senior.
Aye.
Councilmember Shaner.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier. Aye. Councilmember Brunson.
Okay, item added to the agenda.
This will be number 5. The next one is a resolution authorizing an agreement with Wagner General Contractors Incorporated to perform construction work for Phase 1 of the Wellness Park in the Delta Rhythm and Bayous Culture District. I move that this item be added to the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and properly added that we add item number 6 to the agenda. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Senior.
Aye.
Councilmember Shaner.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier. Councilmember Brunson.
Item added to the agenda, item number 6.
The next item to be added to the agenda, a resolution authorizing the mayor to negotiate for the acquisition of a backhoe loader and wheeled excavator for the street department. I move that this item be added to the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and second that item number 7, the resolution authorizing the mayor to negotiate for the requisition of a backhoe loader and wheel excavator for the street department be added to the agenda. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Senior.
Aye.
Councilmember Shaner.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier. Councilmember Brunson.
Item added to the agenda.
That gives us a total of 8 agenda items. That includes ordinance and resolutions.
Thank you, Councilmember Mays. Economic and Community Development, Councilmember Brown Senior.
Thank you, Mayor. Of course, most of the community development has gone over into development and planning, so we do it just that way. However, I would like to talk to you for about 2 minutes if I can. You know, I think that it is far past time for us to take our city and city council, our quorum court, our schools, fire department, police department, our churches, our businesses, sheriff department. I think it's time that we get control of it. We have a radio station here that actually runs all of our departments. They runs the city council, they runs the quorum court. They seem to be happy when a business goes out of business. And it's kind of funny to me because if you're a radio station, you want everybody you can to be a part of your business, to be here so they can advertise. But it's a funny thing that we all have sat around for years and allowed these radio stations to just talk about Pine Bluff in a negative way. And nobody said anything because of why. It's not directly to you, but it's hurting Pine Bluff. I think there's time for this to cease, and I think we can listen to me tonight and say, oh, whatever. But this is true fact. Most of you say you don't listen, but you do. And there's a lot of people that don't listen, they get influenced by other people. It is time for that to cease. Pine Bluff is a city that has a lot to look forward to. Everybody says, oh, well, it's crime in Pine Bluff. There's crime in Little Rock. If 30 people die in Pine Bluff and 30 die in Little Rock, that's still a death, whether it's the population density means nothing to me. It's a death, which nobody should die unless it's a serious accident or a natural cause. So it doesn't matter how big Pine Bluff is. If somebody dies, it's not a good thing from whatever. But, so we keep talking, and I'd like for you to do me a favor. All of you haven't been in a while. Go to Little Rock and look at the hills and the plateaus that are in Little Rock, and then come back and think about, we have plains here. We don't have plateaus. When it rains, and snows and sleets, we don't have to worry about whether we're going to get home safely. You know, go to Little Rock. You come up a hill and you're looking at a red light. Go to Little Rock. You go up a hill and come down, the restaurant that you want to eat at is right there. So we have all the advantages to be a productive city. What we have done is to allow people to make Pine Bluff seem like it's not. And that's the thing that we have to stop doing. We have to get out and stop those people that are ruining our city and our citizens. And that's just it. I said 2 minutes. I'll talk the rest on the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Graham. Our next report will come from Councilmember Frazier, Public Health and Welfare Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. We did not have a meeting since the last City Council meeting. However, I do want the citizens to know that I have met with Nelson Architect and with Larry Matthews, and we have designed some phases for the park. So look out for that coming soon, so you will know what the phases will look like for the park. And I'm asking all of our citizens to continue to keep us in prayer as we move forward with the Ward 3 Park. And don't forget to help by donating to the park. And so with that, I pass it back to you, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Frazier. Public Works, Councilmember Shiner.
Thank you, Mayor. Public Works met on July the 12th. During that meeting, Clean and Beautiful reported that they had assisted with the mayor's cleanup on July the 20th, and that they had also received 2 grants, a $5,000 grant and a $10,000 grant. The street department, we voted on the financing for the 2 street sweepers, the backhoe, and the ditch cleaning machine to send to the council with a due pass. Parks and Rec, we discussed a erosion issue going into Regional Park, and also locks on the bathrooms, and considering to put gates up on the city parks to prevent people from entering those parks at after hours. Mr. Johnson from Pine Bluff Wastewater reported that the new force main construction was going on time, and also we voted to take the funds and move them to the university project on the sewer extension and send that to council with a due pass. And that concludes my report.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Shiner. Development and Planning, Councilmember Lockett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Development and Planning Committee met July 8th in the City Council chambers and via Zoom. We forwarded item number 1, which was simply a ordinance to correct a clerical error in the fee for assessing mobile homes. We also forwarded to the council item number 2, ordinance to close 2 unnamed streets that are within the park, the 3rd Ward Park that Madam Frazier and others are working on. And we also forwarded to the council resolutions providing for the placement of costs of correcting certain nuisances, which is a procedural thing that covers our lot clearance and demolition cost we have here in the city. We sent all 3 of those items to the council with a due pass. Madam Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilmember Lockett. Traffic and Aviation, Councilmember Bronson.
Mayor, Traffic and Aviation have not met since the last city council meeting, but we do have one coming up in the next week, and you all will get an email about the date and the time. And that ends my report.
Thank you, Councilmember Bronson. Administration, Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Thank you, Mayor. The Administration Committee has not met since the last council meeting. It will meet Tuesday, July 30th, and you will get a time you will get a call on the time of that meeting on July 30th. That concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Not on July 30th, the meeting of July 30th at a later date from the clerk.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Public Safety, Councilmember Brown Jr.
No report at this time, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you, Councilmember Brown Jr. I'm going to stop now before we go into our ordinances and resolutions section and make a few announcements, if you will. One announcement that I'm proud to make is that we have a new cemetery director who has really hit the ground running. He has been trained by a former director, Ms. Gail Blackerby, and I think she's prepared him to really move that cemetery department to the next level. And I'd like to introduce this director tonight. His name is Mr. Chilton Blunt. So let's stand and give him a round of applause, welcoming him to the city of Pine Bluff. Chilton, will you stand, please? He comes with somewhat of a marginal base of experience, but the main thing is that attitude for learning and moving it to the next level. I think he has that in place. One of the announcements that we'll make tonight is that United Way Helping Hands volunteer program is accepting donations of peanut butter for school-age children. The donation location is located in the Donald W. Reynolds Building at 211 West 3rd Avenue. Donations will be accepted until August 15th. The Arkansas Black Mayors Association will conduct a public meeting Thursday, July 18th, 2024 at 5 p.m. at the Convention Center. This community meeting is going to be headed up by E.J. Jones, and he's with us tonight, and he'll tell you a little bit about what to expect at that community meeting on Thursday, July 18th. Mr. Jones?
I'd like to say good evening to the mayor and all of the councilmen, ladies and gentlemen. We have a very important meeting. Of course, I'm Edwin Jones, the CEO of the EJS, but we have an EJS FTN joint venture. This is a very important meeting that we're gonna have Thursday. We have been working for the last 18 months on the planning phase for drainage improvements for the city of Pine Bluff. And we have, over that 18 months, talked a lot about the planning and things that we've been looking at to come up with what we call some alternatives for improvements. So we would like to make sure that our citizens, our constituents, and the mayor and your office and all of the council, make sure you're there for the 18th. We got some exciting news. We got a lot of improvements in all 4 of the wards that we're going to have identified specific areas for drainage improvements. Our drainage improvements is to get rid of all of the flooding for the homes and the businesses. So it's very important that you guys, ladies and gentlemen, be prepared to come out to the meeting. We need your input. We have a great opportunity to do a lot of good improvements for Pine Bluff. So your input is very important for this meeting at 5 o'clock on Thursday. We're really, really excited. We have done a lot of hard work, and we want to make you guys proud of the city of Pine Bluff for getting this drainage issues improved.
Thank you, Mr.
Any questions, Mayor?
Did any of the council members have questions?
I just want to say thank you because when we came to our meeting, you had majority of the ones that I had on my list, and we just only had to add a few more. So I'm grateful for that opportunity, and I'm grateful for the work that you have done thus far.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Any other questions or comments? Mr. Jones has been with us all day today. He came in at 9:30, I believe it was, and we started going over the plan as they have it at this point with each ward group. So we started with each 2 wards all day today, and we ended at about 4:30 this afternoon. Well, basically, it was 5 o'clock when we finished. So we were glad that we had that opportunity to present to the council members. The community meeting, we're asking all of you to please encourage all of the residents, all of your neighbors and friends to be at that meeting on Thursday night so that they can see the improvement plan at its current state. And then once they make that presentation, if they omit any areas in the neighborhoods that you are aware of where we have a regular occurrence of flooding, make sure that they are made aware of those areas before they leave on Thursday night. They'll be here in Pine Bluff at the Pine Bluff Convention Center at 5 p.m. And for those who are in the county, they will also present at, I think it's Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church in Altamont. Ms. Seals, I'm sorry, is it Mount Zion in Altamont?
I don't know anything about
That is correct.
That's correct, okay, Mount Zion. Okay, I thought you were working with
Well,
some,
I thought I was too. They just hadn't shared that information with me.
oh, I'm sorry,
It's okay, it's okay.
Sorry, okay, all right. Well, they told me you were the person, so, okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Jones. As part of the mayor's Slam Dunk the Junk Anti-Litter campaign that's being headed up by Mr. Martavius Proctor in my office, we're going to have a cleanup on Saturday, July 20th at Townsend Park. And this cleanup is going to focus on the north side of Pine Bluff, and we'll start it from Townsend Park, or I think that's Burr Street, on the back side of Pine Bluff, and we're basically going all the way over to University. And from that far north side all the way over to Pullen Street. So we ask you to please come out and volunteer with us. The hours are, I don't see hours on here, Martavius, 7:30 until 10? 7:30 until 10 is hot, so we want to get a good early start. And if we are focused, get out there and hit the ground running, we think we can make a big difference in cleaning up that side of the community in that 2.5 to 3 hours. So please encourage all the neighbors, council members, we'll look to see you out there with us. Thank you so very much. Pine Bluff Group Violence Intervention will have the Unity Back to School Bash on July 27th at the Pine Bluff Convention Center from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Please contact the GVI Director, Kevin Crompton, at 870-510-0386 for more information. I think those are our announcements for this evening.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
again, I forgot to mention it when I had an opportunity to speak, that we're still in from 90 to a higher index of heat for this summer. Please remember your neighbors and your relatives. They may not be as comfortable as we think they are. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. Thank you so much. That's very good observation to make. It's critical that they stay hydrated. I'm from the country. I grew up in the cotton fields, and I know that many times if you stay hydrated, find a cool, shady spot, you will live. Now, if you move around out there in that sun too much and you're not staying hydrated, then there is that danger of heat stroke, okay? So check on your neighbors, check on especially your elderly neighbors and friends. Thank you so much. Moving into proposed ordinances and resolutions, Councilmember Holcomb substituting for Councilmember Mays.
Agenda item number 1, an ordinance amending section 7-11 of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, respecting a fee assessed for inspection of mobile homes to be moved from outside Jefferson County, Arkansas, into the City of Pine Bluff and for related purposes, up for the first reading.
Whereas the increased cost of gasoline and related expenses necessitates an increase in the fee assessed for an inspection of a mobile home located outside of Jefferson County but intended to be moved inside the city of Pine Bluff. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1, that Section 711 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff titled Travel Fee for Inspection of Mobile Homes or Other Movable Structures is amended to increase the fee assessed for an inspection of a mobile home located outside of Jefferson County but intended to be moved into the city of Pine Bluff from $125 to $150 effective immediately. Section 2, all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are repealed to the extent of the conflict. Section 3, this ordinance not being of a general or permanent nature, it need not be published and shall take effect upon its passage.
Suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its second reading. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Sr.
Aye.
Councilmember Shaner. Councilmember Frazier.
Aye.
Councilmember Brunson.
Aye.
An ordinance amending Section 711 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, respecting the fee assessed for inspection of mobile homes to be moved from outside Jefferson County, Arkansas, into the City of Pine Bluff and for related purposes.
Suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its third and final reading.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that this ordinance be placed on its third and final reading. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Sr.
Aye.
Councilmember Shaner.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier.
Aye.
Councilmember Brunson.
Aye.
An ordinance amending Section 7-11 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, respecting the fee assessed for inspection of mobile homes to be moved from outside Jefferson County, Arkansas, into the City of Pine Bluff and for related purposes.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that an ordinance amending Section 711 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, respecting the fee assessed for inspection of mobile homes to be moved from outside Jefferson County, Arkansas, into the City of Pine Bluff and for related purposes be approved. The floor is open for discussion. One of the things that I think we should all note is that this is just a correction. It's not an addition. The amount that the Inspection and Zoning Department is collecting right now, according to the Director, Ruth, is $150, but the ordinance currently says $125, so this is merely a correction. And this is when we go out to inspect outside the county, okay? If there are no other questions or comments, all in favor of this ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance approved.
Agenda item number 2, an ordinance to close 2 unnamed streets in the east-west alley located between the 2100 and 2200 blocks of Arlington and Amos Streets and a north-south alley located north of Miramar in the 3700 block. Up for the first reading.
Whereas a petition was duly filed with the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas to close 2 unnamed streets and the east-west alley located between 2100 and 2200 block of Arlington and Amos Streets and a north-south alley located north of Miramar in the 3700 block. And whereas after proper notice, as required by law, the city has heard all persons desiring to be heard on the question and has ascertained that the 2 unnamed streets and the east-west alley located between 2100 and 2200 blocks of Arlington and Amos Streets and a north-south alley located north of Miramar in the 3700 block and have heretofore been dedicated to the public use as public streets and public alleys, and that the public interest and welfare will not be adversely affected by the closing of said alleys. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, that Section 1, that the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas hereby releases, vacates, and abandons all its rights together with the rights of the public generally, except those specifically set forth below in and to the portion of the streets and alleys right-of-way designated below. Section 2, a copy of the ordinance duly certified by the city clerk shall be filed in the office of the recorder of Jefferson County and recorded in the deed of records of the county. Section 3, that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict.
Suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its second reading.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its second reading. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays. Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Sr.
Aye.
Councilmember Shaner.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier.
Aye.
Councilmember Brunson.
Aye.
An ordinance to close 2 unnamed streets and the east-west alley located between the 21 and 2200 blocks of Arlington and Amos Streets and a north-south alley located north of Miramar in the 3700 block.
Suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its third and final reading.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its third and final reading. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Sr. Councilmember Shaner.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier.
Aye.
Councilmember Brunson.
Aye.
An ordinance to close 2 unnamed streets and the east-west alley located between the 21 and 2200 blocks of Arlington and Amos Streets and a north-south alley located north of Miramar in the 3700 block.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that an ordinance to close 2 unnamed streets and the east-west alley located between 21st and 2200 blocks of Arlington and Amos Streets and a north-south alley located north of Miramar in the 3700 block be closed for approval. The floor is open for questions or comments. Hearing none, we know that these are the alleys that run through the Bush Park that we're working on. They're just grassy areas that are on the maps, and we're just removing them from the map. If there are no more comments or questions, all in favor of this ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance approved.
Agenda item 2A, an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a lease agreement to provide short-term financing under Amendment 78 to the Arkansas Constitution for the acquisition of certain tangible personal property to Elgin Pelican Street Sweepers and prescribing other matters relating thereto, up for the first reading.
Whereas the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas is authorized and empowered under the provisions of Amendment 78 to the Constitution of the State of Arkansas and Act 1808 of 2001, to issue notes to expend the proceeds thereof to finance all or a portion of the cost of acquiring, constructing, equipping, and installing real property or tangible personal property having an expected useful life of more than 1 year. And whereas the city proposes to finance the acquisition of certain equipment to be utilized by the Pine Bluff Street Department, to wit, 2 Elgin Pelican street sweepers for use by the department in street maintenance. And whereas it is proposed that the city execute and lease and issue a lease agreement and associated documents in the principal amount of $539,999 under Amendment 78 and the Act for the purpose of financing all or a portion of the cost of the personal property. And whereas the city intends to execute the lease agreement with Lease Servicing Center Incorporated and deliver the same to the lessor in consideration for financing the acquisition of the personal property. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, that Section 1, the City Council hereby finds that the personal property is tangible personal property having a useful life of more than 1 year. The City Council further finds that the aggregate principal amount of the lease and the city's outstanding indebtedness issued or incurred under Amendment 78 does not exceed 5% of the assessed value of taxable property located within the city as determined by the last tax assessment. Section 2. Under the authority of the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arkansas, including particularly Amendment 78 and the Act, the lease agreement is hereby authorized and ordered, issued in the principal amount not to exceed $539,999. for the purpose of financing the cost of acquiring the personal property and paying expenses of issuing the lease. The lease shall be issued to the lessor in consideration for the financing acquisition of the personal property. The lease shall be dated the date of its issuance. Amounts shall be paid pursuant to the lease as needed to pay for the cost of acquiring the personal property as such costs become due. The lease shall be paid in 5 equal annual installments of $128,944.42, commencing January 28, 2025, and on the same day each year thereafter, with the final installment due January 28, 2029. The lease shall be included in fully registered form. The lease shall be executed by the mayor and city clerk, and the seal of the city shall be affixed to the lease. Section 3, as provided in Amendment 78, any annual debt service payments on the lease in each fiscal year shall be charged against and paid from the general revenues of the city for such fiscal year. For the purpose of making the annual debt service payments, there is hereby and shall be appropriated to pay the lease in an amount of general revenues of the city sufficient for such purpose. The city clerk is authorized and directed to withdraw from the general fund of the city the amounts at the times necessary to make the annual debt service payments on the note. Section 4. The city covenants with the lessor that it shall not take any action or suffer or permit any action to be taken or condition to exist which causes or may cause the interest payable on the lease to be included in gross income for federal income tax purposes. Without limiting the generality of the foregoing, the city covenants with the lessor that the proceeds of the sale of the note will not be used directly or indirectly in such manner as to cause the note to be treated as an arbitrage bond within the meaning of Section 148 of the Internal Revenue Service Code of 1986, as amended. B, the city covenants with the lessor that it will not use or permit the use of the personal property or proceeds of the lease in such a manner to cause the lease to be a private activity bond within the meaning of Section 141 of the code. C, the city covenants with the lessor that it will not reimburse itself from note proceeds for any costs paid prior to the date the lease is issued, except in compliance with the U.S. Treasury Regulation Number 1.150-2. This ordinance shall constitute an official intent for purposes of regulation. Section 5. The mayor, city clerk, and city attorney are hereby authorized and directed on behalf of the city to perform all acts whatsoever nature necessary to effect and carry out the authority conferred by this ordinance and to execute all papers, documents, certificates, and other instruments that may be required for carrying out such authority or to evidence the exercise thereof. Section 6, the sections, paragraphs, sentences, clauses, and phrases of this ordinance are hereby declared severable, and if any section, paragraph, sentence, clause, or phrase of this ordinance shall be declared invalid or unconstitutional by any court of competent jurisdiction, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not void or affect any of the remaining portions of the provision of this ordinance. Section 8, all ordinances and resolutions and parts of ordinances and resolutions in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Section 9, this ordinance not being of a general or permanent nature, it shall take effect immediately. The clerk will, however, cause it to be published consistent with Arkansas law.
Suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its second reading.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second that we suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its second reading. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Senior.
Aye.
Councilmember Shaner.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier.
Aye.
Councilmember Brunson.
Aye.
An ordinance authorizing the issuance of a lease agreement to provide short-term financing under Amendment 78 to the Arkansas Constitution for the acquisition of certain tangible personal property and prescribing other matters relating thereto.
Suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its third and final reading.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that we suspend the rules and place this ordinance on its third and final reading. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays.
Aye.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett.
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Senior.
Aye.
Councilmember Shainer.
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier.
Aye.
Councilmember Brunson.
An ordinance authorizing the issuance of a lease agreement to provide short-term financing under Amendment 78 to the Arkansas Constitution for the acquisition of certain tangible personal property and prescribing other matters relating thereto.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that an ordinance authorizing the issuance of a lease agreement to provide short-term financing under Amendment 78 to the Arkansas Constitution for the acquisition of certain tangible personal property, being 2 Elgin Pelican street sweepers, and prescribing other matters relating thereto, be approved. The floor is open for discussion. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor of this ordinance, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance approved.
Agenda item number 3, a resolution providing for placement of costs on correcting certain nuisance on tax books at delinquent taxes and collected as such.
Whereas ACA 1454-903 and ordinance
Move for
number.
adoption.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that a resolution providing for placement of cost of correcting certain nuisances on tax books as delinquent taxes and collected as such be approved. And you have the list in front of you. The floor is open for questions or comments. Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution approved.
Agenda item number 4, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Ritter Communications to provide internet and phone services to the city of Pine Bluff and for related purposes.
Whereas the city advertised for interested vendors to provide internet and phone services to city government, and the firm of Ritter Communications supplied the best, most complimentary proposal for the project. And whereas this vendor is qualified and approved under state contract as administered by the Arkansas Department of Finance and Administration, and is capable of providing the services and equipment needed to successfully provide the internet and phone services desired by the city for the consideration which will represent a significant cost savings to the city and on the terms and conditions acceptable. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1, that the mayor is authorized to execute an agreement with Ritter Communications consistent with its submitted proposal and the city's specifications to provide internet and phone services to the city. Section 2, the terms of the agreement with Ritter will be for 60 months, commencing as soon as practical for the consideration and on the terms outlined in Ritter's proposal and the city's specifications.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Ritter Communications to provide internet and phone services to the city of Pine Bluff and for related purposes be approved. The floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Lockett.
Madam Mayor, could you kind of highlight how this contract differs from the one we've had for the last 5 years and the cost savings to the council and the city?
Okay. I'm going to let our IT director address those questions, and we have 2 representatives from Ritter Communications with us, and Gina, our finance director.
Good evening. Good evening.
What it will do is
Can you pull your hand up?
Pull it down, Gina.
it will combine the telephone and the internet together, and it's an annual savings. We're estimating right now of about $60,000 a year.
60,000 savings.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Will that cause us to have to get new phone equipment?
Yes.
And so would that savings be included? We won't incur additional costs for that equipment? Is that a no?
No, he was riding yes, and y'all
I'm
not
hearing
no.
that from, I need to hear from everybody. Ritter?
You will not, the hardware is included, yes.
Okay.
And you will still get the savings, yes.
Okay. Okay, all right, just wanted to be clear on that. Okay.
So,
I did have a
Yes, you have a question?
where's Ritter? I didn't see it in there. located at?
Ritter Communications is headquartered in Jonesboro.
So you saying 60 months, a contract, that's 5 years.
Yes, sir.
How much money is this per year?
I think it was 15,000 times 12, roughly. 180,000 or so.
Okay.
180 a year?
So when I did the math with taxes and everything, it came out to be about $194,000 a year. That's for all the city buildings, police department, fire department, all buildings.
So we do know that our equipment needed to be updated.
Yes.
Because I think what we have is what?
It's
Probably,
It's outdated, and it's so outdated that it cannot even be, we don't have anyone to work on it if it goes down. So we have to pay people to come out each time, every time something happens. It's outdated. We can't control our voicemails. We can't control who and how we set the extensions without calling somebody and paying an extra expense, which the 60,000 she is talking about includes a lot of extra payments that we spend on people coming out to set up voicemails, set up extensions. With this, we can do this in-house, and it's no extra charge.
So the current system's AT&T? What is the current system under?
Current system
Can you talk to
is-
that mic where I can hear you louder, man? People.
Current system
kind of
is with,
piecemeal with multiple systems, if I make no
right.
mistake.
Okay,
It's with Fusion, which is with AT&T as well.
okay.
So this way, we're going straight seamlessly with one company.
Right.
And one
Yes, and it's
system.
fiber optic internet.
So the update has been needed for quite some time.
All right. And how long is that conversion, I guess, taking it from whatever system we're on now to Ritter's? That I know it can't all happen in one day, so we're talking about months of conversion.
Yeah, the build time and lead time in there to build fiber, to touch every phone, to migrate all the phone numbers and everything, we're looking at like a 90 to 120 day process.
Okay. All right.
I would like to have to say something. I'm just gonna be totally transparent. When I saw the name, I almost didn't wanna vote for it. Because when Ritter did some work in Ward 3 and it was raggedy, the wires was all down to the ground, and I had a hard time reaching someone, and it took me going to a municipal league conference and speaking to a representative there before anything ever got done. And that thing was like that for months. And so when I saw this name, it almost, but I try not to let a past experience hinder a new experience. So I just want to put that out there. When we call for a problem, please answer.
So was that one of your subcontractors?
It
Ritter.
absolutely was. We
Okay.
employed subcontractors to put up the infrastructure, and we will provide anyone here in this building with a direct number to get those things handled more readily in the future. And you can call me personally. I'm a Pine Bluff native. I'm a proud graduate of Southwood Elementary School, and I want to do what's right for this city. I call this city my second home.
And I want to say this since we said subcontractors. I wish we, as a city council, would write some kind of legislation that will hold people who use subcontractors accountable for checking behind the subcontractors and making sure the work is done right, because we are having so much problem with subcontractors. So I don't know what the solution really can be, but we definitely need to do something legislative-wise.
And that should be already the case. I mean, that's what's happening, it should be.
Because there's
in
been
the
a
street
lot of
department.
issues lately. Not just with them. I'm not just talking about you, just so you know.
Councilmember Lockett.
Yes, is this gonna be voice over IP, and if so, what is the speed? Will we get an increased speed greater than what we currently have?
Yes, this will be voice over IP, and the speed will be greater than what we have.
Talk about what we currently have.
Well, what we currently have is we have two different services. So our internet service is through Pine Bluff Cable, and our phone service is, like we said, through Fusion and through AT&T. So
Put the microphone in your mouth.
Yeah, man, we can't hear you.
Put it in your mouth, but you come to it and you back right away from it.
I mean, it's
Just speak up just a bit.
no funny man.
So So like I said, our internet is right at, in this building, I know we're getting like 500 megabits per second, and we're not getting that at all. And so this would be a gig speed. So this would be almost double what we're getting with Pine Bluff Cable. And like I said, with the phone lines, it's just voice over IP now. So all of our phones would be voice over IP, and they'll all also be on the same fiber as the internet.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have one.
So,
Councilmember Holcomb.
so when was this service start if we vote on this?
When would the service start?
If we was to vote on this tonight?
Well, you talking about getting billed and all that?
No, I'm talking about, not the bill.
Once they get completed. So like he said, it's 90 to 120 days.
Okay, Councilmember Mavis.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. You know, he gave us this book last week. You see all them pages in there, man? I mean, I usually try to read this stuff. I can't support this, me personally, because then it's in the resolution form instead of orders where we got time to read it 3 times. Or you all have, but at the resolution, you just bring anything up in here, man. I don't even know if all of this stuff in here is legit.
Well, a lot of that on there are the different, it's just spread out from different departments. So the fire departments, and each fire department has its own separate address with the same information on each page. So a lot of that is redundant. It's just on the fire department in Dollaway and the fire department over here, they just have different sections in that paper. So it's the same thing over and over.
And I thought the same thing when I first received it, since my packet was so thick, Councilman Mays. So I do understand what you're saying, but it was the same thing repeated throughout the packet once you read through one of them.
Mayor, can I say one more?
Okay. Any other comments? Councilmember Holcomb?
Yeah, and I've heard concerns from a couple of department heads that you've expressed tonight, and I do want to move forward on this. And I have heard the concern of Councilmember Frazier. Oh, well.
I mean, I just wanted to bring that to their attention.
I just want, but we.
And we appreciate that.
And we appreciate that, but we just want to move forward, and we just want to make sure all I's are dotted and all T's are crossed.
Absolutely.
Any other comments or questions? Okay. All right. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor of this resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mays?
No.
Councilmember Holcomb Jr.?
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Jr.?
Aye.
Councilmember Lockett?
Aye.
Councilmember Brown Sr.?
Aye.
Councilmember Shaner?
Aye.
Councilmember Frazier?
Aye.
Councilmember Brunson?
Aye. Resolution approved.
Agenda item number 5, a resolution authorizing the acquisition of 2 Elgin Pelican street sweepers for the street department.
Whereas the street department is in great need of acquiring new street sweepers, and whereas the firm of Environmental Products Group Incorporated has 2 Elgin Pelican street sweepers which meet all the department specifications and which may be acquired in compliance with state and local competitive bidding rules through Sourcewell, a public contracting service similar to Arkansas State Contract Procedure, for the price of $269,999.50 each, or for a total of $539,999. And whereas financing of the transaction will be through NCL Government Capital through a lease agreement presented to the council for approval contemporaneous with this resolution. And whereas the acquisition of the equipment through this means is in the public interest. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1, that the mayor is authorized to acquire the Environmental Products Group Incorporated 2 Elgin Pelican street sweepers as particularly described in the attached proposal submitted by the company via the Sourcewell process in compliance with the state and city rules regarding competitive bidding. Section 2, that the price for each Each sweeper is $269,999.50 for a total cost of $539,999. And acquisition will be financed as a lease agreement with NCL Government Capital in compliance with Amendment 78 to the Arkansas Constitution as approved by separate legislation contemporaneous herewith.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded that a resolution authorizing the acquisition of 2 Elgin street sweepers for the street department be approved. The floor is open for a discussion.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I know the street sweeper is, but what I really want to know is how effective are they now? I remember in the older days, maybe, when I was like 15 years old, they was very effective. Are they effective now?
I think, yes, they're effective primarily on our streets where we have curb and gutter. And that's where we're using them. And so we have a lot of neighborhoods. They're not effective on my street because I don't have curb and gutter. But before I moved to where I am now, that was curb and gutter. And so I drive down that street, sometimes they're effective. What we're seeing now is not good cleaning being done by the street sweepers that we have because they're not the proper sweepers for what we sweep in our city. So I think if we get back to the street sweepers that we are ordering, these Elgin street sweepers, we'll see cleaner curbs along our streets with curb and gutter. Does that answer your question?
That does. I just wanted to,
I think you live in a neighborhood with curb and gutter.
Yes.
So I think you'll see a difference
I'll be looking for them.
in what you see now. Yes, sir. Any other questions or comments?
Madam Mayor.
Councilmember Lockett.
Do you have any idea how often they will be able to do the street cleaning?
If they get the 2 running, they're supposed to do it weekly, once per week in each area. They need to get back to that, and that's the discussion that we're having.
Okay, and will we be able to get a schedule on maybe where they are? I've had some constituents call about the street cleaning business. And I guess one of the things, this is a whole bunch of money, but I definitely want to be able to say that if we get the street sweepers that it's not that we need a real hard schedule, but we need some kind of schedule so if you are in a development with curbs and gutters, every couple of weeks you'll see the machine. And
So citizens know which day to
Right.
expect the street sweeper to come through their neighborhood.
Yes, ma'am. I definitely don't want a situation where we spend $500,000 on street sweepers and they might run once a month or once every 2 months and they may be sitting and not have an actual schedule, pretty much like the garbage people that, even if it takes a month to do all the developments within the city, that's a schedule that we're committed to, on a daily basis because one of the problems I do have with our street departments, it's so tasked with so much. It cuts down the trees, it cleans out the ditches, it cuts the ditches, it street sweeps. And when you start adding up all them tasks and you divide it by maybe 20 people, it becomes pretty overwhelming for them to do, what they're supposed to do. But I know with this buying equipment, I don't want us to be acquiring equipment that's just sits there. You understand what I'm saying?
And the question to them has been, how many street sweepers do you need to run to cover every street in the city at least once per week? And they've told us that if they put it on a schedule with 2 sweepers going out every day, that's 2 individuals.
Okay, I understand.
So it shouldn't be and they have those 2 people already.
And they'll be able to cover every...
That's what they're telling us.
Okay.
So once they get started, if they have to adjust that, they can do that and then get that schedule out to you.
Okay,
So who is Public Works? You're Public Works now?
That's Brother Shana down there.
And so for now, once they come in, if they come in this year, you'll have to help with supervising that. And then once we come back in and the new mayor is in place and committee chairs are put in place, that will be on the Public Works Committee.
Okay.
Okay, working with the director. Okay?
Yeah.
I understand. They don't work properly.
About the street sweep.
The street
sweepers that we have.
The ones that were purchased under a new previous director that are not the right ones, we're trying to make sure they're in good working order, clean those up and sell them. And then the old ones, there's one of the old Elgins that they had, they've got that one running now. So that'll give us a backup.
So do we have a maintenance system to keep them running?
So far, yes.
We have the new mechanics over there can work on these new machines?
Well, the ones that we're
The
getting,
mechanic that we have,
is familiar with it already.
one of them, we have to send it out for some parts, but then they did get that one going, and they're keeping them maintained, yes.
We've had Pelicans in the past, so.
They're familiar with this particular piece of equipment. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor of this resolution, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution approved.
Agenda item number 6, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Wagner General Contractors Incorporated to perform construction work for Phase 1 of the Wellness Park and the Delta Rhythm and Bayous Cultural District.
Whereas the city solicited bids from interested vendors to perform specified construction work for Phase 1 of the Wellness Park in the Delta Rhythm and Bayous Cultural District, the firm of, is it Wagner? Yeah, Wagner General Contractors Incorporated submitted the lowest, most responsible bid to perform the desired work. And whereas an agreement should be executed with this vendor to perform the work. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, that the mayor is authorized to execute an agreement with Wagner General Contractors Incorporated to perform the work specified in the city's bid solicitation and necessarily related thereto for the consideration of $993,000 and for other terms and conditions set forth in the city's solicitation and otherwise standard in the field for work of this nature.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that a resolution authorizing an agreement with Wagner General Contractors to perform construction work for Phase 1 of the Wellness Park in the Delta Rhythm and Bayous Cultural District be approved. The floor is open for discussion. Councilmember Lockett.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I just want to applaud all the people involved with this. I love the idea of what we're doing with this Delta Rhythm and Bayous District. My hats off to Economic and Community Development, Mr. Matthews, and all the other people that make this happen.
Any other comments?
I just had a question about the deductive alternate, that side over there. Is that just kind of like some kind of contingency area, or?
I'm assuming it was is Mr. Who is representing this from Community Development? Lori? Ms. Walker? Lori? Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So we took bids for both the horizontal aspects of the development, which is basically the site improvements and the recreational equipment that would be there. And we also took bids for the restrooms, which is a vertical aspect of that project. We are doing the horizontal aspects of it now. And then if some other factors come into play, we will change order possibly the restroom part, which is the deductible alternate part in there.
Okay.
So what we're seeing, it was 1,263,000.
Correct.
Okay, so the deductive alternate was that the 447 and the 270?
So it's the restroom part, it was the 200.
Which one is the restroom part?
The 200.
The 270,000?
Okay.
Yes. let me pull that.
Okay, so the base bid on
Okay.
Carson and then Klein, was their base bid, does that include the deductive as well, or?
So the architect certified all of the bids to make sure that the base bid was the lowest base bid.
Okay, so their base bid is really 993, whereas so with Klein, it would be 1.3 million plus 212,000?
Yes.
Okay. But on Wagner's, it was, they put 1.2 in, but that included everything.
No, that wouldn't be right for Klein, would it? You said the 1,309,000 plus 212. I think the 1,309 includes the 212 because that's one of the deductive alternates, right?
I don't have the bids in front of me, but I just wanted to answer the question about
Because
what
when we
it was.
took the deductive alternate from the Wagners, it came down to 993.
Yes.
The base bid included everything.
Base bid is everything.
Yeah, and then you have a separate section for the deductive alternate, which is taken out of the base bid.
Right.
If we took the whole bid, it would have been in. So we just taking the deductive alternate from the base bid.
I guess and then later on, let's just say, because I'm looking at the deductive alternate on the others, so Klein's deductive alternate is less than Wagner. So, I mean, later on, if we added that, are we rebidding that out?
Well, we'll have the contractor on site. If we decided, we don't know if that bid still will be good by the time we get to that point.
Okay.
What it does, it makes it simpler. We can enter into that deductive alternate with the existing contractor, or we just rebid the whole,
Gotcha.
that portion of the project.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and I can agree with Councilmember Brown because each one of the other contractors, if that deductive alternate one was the restroom portion, each one of the others was less.
Yeah.
So
You can't separate the two and say, well, we'll take one deductive. You have to go. with
not
the whole
now, but
contract.
if we didn't do the restrooms now and did the restrooms later,
We still couldn't
you
accept that
can't
bid.
rebid?
It's tied to the contract that we bidded. We
Okay.
bidded the whole contract. His pricing, whatever it was, is tied to the whole contract, not necessarily we could bill this for this amount. It's gonna cost him more
okay.
to do it individually.
Oh, to come back and
Yeah.
have to start a whole new scene.
Because you got all the startup, you got
I
all
got
the general conditions, you got
Okay.
all those other things that are tied in.
Okay.
So I guess the next question is that with having the 993, I guess why aren't we going ahead and going with the 1.263?
We're working on the site control. We just don't have site control for that particular area.
Oh, okay.
Where
Gotcha.
the restroom is going.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
And if we get that, we can just automatically roll it in, which we think we can get.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds good. Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, if there are no more questions or comments, all in favor of this resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution approved.
Agenda item number 7, a resolution authorizing the mayor to negotiate for the acquisition of a backhoe loader and wheel excavator for the street department.
Whereas the street department is in great need of acquiring a new backhoe loader and wheeled excavator to better maintain the city's streets. And whereas the firm of J.A. Riggs Tractor Company has the needed backhoe and excavator which meets the needs of the department's specification and which will be acquired in compliance with state and local competitive bidding rules through Sourcewell, a public contracting service similar to Arkansas state contract procedure. And whereas financing of the transaction can be arranged through Caterpillar Financial Services Corporation with the term and payments negotiable, and the mayor should be authorized to negotiate the best terms for the city and with the city council having final approval. And whereas the acquisition of the equipment through this means will be in the public interest. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Section 1, the mayor is authorized to take steps to acquire from J.A. Riggs Tractor Company one 420 backhoe loader as more particularly described in the attachment and one M314 wheeled excavator, also as more particularly described in the attachment, subject to satisfactory agreement regarding the financing of the equipment. The proposal, which has been submitted by the company, which is an approved Sourcewell vendor, is in compliance with the state and city rules regarding competitive bidding. Section 2, that once a price is negotiated, legislation authorizing the method of financing the acquisition shall be submitted to the council for approval. It is anticipated the debt instrument will take the form of a lease or lease purchase agreement and be issued pursuant to Amendment 78 to the Arkansas Constitution.
Move for adoption.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that a resolution authorizing the mayor to negotiate for the acquisition of a backhoe loader and wheel excavator for the street department be approved. The floor is open for discussion or questions.
Madam Mayor, trying to get it, but what's the total cost of both of these?
I don't remember off the
It's
top of my head.
attached.
It's in the packet.
It's attached back there. The backhoe was $141,977, and oh no, there's a different option. So there's a cash price for one, and then we have a lease option. So that one is, I guess it depends on how we acquire it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my arms around just what ballpark figure we're looking at for
What was
both
our
of these.
final decision, Mr. Matthews? We talked about leasing, we talked about, we had so many of these. One was $129,420, I believe.
129, I don't have mine.
And then the other one,
Around 149.
141,977.
Reason is for that, this evening, we're asking the council to approve the negotiation with the vendor. We had some misunderstanding and some hookups that we had to get done with the financing. So at the next council meeting, we will bring the financing package back to the council, but we will have secured the merchandise from the vendor. I believe they were overcharging for the terms that they presented to us with the term leasing. So we want to straighten it out before we bring the actual dollar amount back at the next council meeting.
So right now, this resolution is just authorizing us to negotiate the acquisition, and we'll come back with the amounts.
Yes, ma'am. That answer your
So
question?
we negotiate
Yeah,
the
because I'm looking at this 277, is that a price for one of them? And I see this other one
That's
for
for the
one.
ditch cleaner.
Okay,
It's clear.
That's the,
is that the big one?
The excavator is the more costly one.
not the four wheels.
Yes.
Then, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I'm just trying to see what, in a roundabout budget, we looking at maybe 400,000?
It's pretty close to that.
For both of them?
together. Yes.
One of them is about 3 and the other one is about 129, 130?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just,
And they need both of them.
gotcha.
Especially the backhoe. It's the backbone of the street department. It's the everyday horse that they use.
Are we phasing one out, or are we just kind of having a backup?
The one that they have is
It's gone.
everyday problem that they have with it. So it's time for a new one.
So, okay.
They've had that for almost 20 years.
It's constantly in the shop.
Yes.
repairs.
So, excuse me, Mayor.
Councilman.
So what kind of, maintenance agreement do we have?
We have not went through the maintenance agreement. We have to go through that when we bring the terms back. We'll bring the maintenance back with it.
So with this resolution, we're being authorized to go through the negotiation with them. And then when we do that, we'll have to determine whether it's going to be best to purchase or lease, based on the use, the hours. We do know that maintenance and all is covered if we do the lease route, but we don't know what financial package is going to be better for us.
All right, and do they do like a balloon at the end of the lease, or do they?
That is the portion that we are working out. That's where the misunderstanding came today in the paperwork that they sent us. Riggs, which is the dealership that we're dealing with.
Right.
It's not, the issue is not with them, the issue is with the financing from Caterpillar financing that we have to straighten out.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Matthews. Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor of this resolution, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution approved. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
been moved that we are adjourned. At this time, we're going to entertain our public speakers. We have 4. You will have 2 minutes each. I'm sorry. Mr. Matthews.
Did we do the resolution to do the University Drive with J.A. Parks? Did we get that in, Joe?
I don't think so.
We didn't get that one in.
Is it a deadline on it?
No, it can wait.
We'll get it next week.
All right. And I may not have put it in the packet, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Our first speaker is going to be Mr. Julius Lever, Local Government Affairs. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Lever. And Mr. Lever, we would appreciate it if we would adhere strictly to the 2-minute bell. Thank you so much for your fine cooperation in advance.
City Council residents, the last meeting that you had, you passed a resolution dealing with the 6th and Main Street property. In that 6th and Main Street project, as I saw and understand, no one was willing to meet with you all. So it seems like there is some disrespect that has occurred between the City Council, Urban Renewal, Go Forward, and Simmons Bank. I personally don't see how you all could pass such an ordinance when you have $4 million of the taxpayers' money on the line and they won't even meet with you. That is a fact. When I went to the city clerk's office, there's no contract written about the 6th and Main Street project in the clerk's office. How could that be? And I will say this to you, and I'll be as direct as I can. There is something called an unenforceable contract. I really believe that it's possible in this circumstance. No meeting of the minds. I heard y'all ask lots of questions in the last 2 or 3 issues, but you never asked them a question because they wouldn't meet with you. Young people having problems respecting authority because people in authority get so little respect from others to have similar high authority. So when Simmons Bank, Go Forward, Urban Renewal would meet with y'all, I think that is ridiculous that you would pass such an ordinance. And I do believe there's an amendment called Amendment 7. Mayor, you were not here. The vote was 5-3. But anytime you change, modify a contract or attempt to do so, when the people have voted, we want no more to do with Go Forward this time. It has to be 2/3 vote. You were not here. Mr. Holcomb was a pro tempore. He took your place, but it was still 5-3. Had you been here, you could have broken the tie, but I still think it would have been unenforceable. So I'm here to say I'm very disappointed. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Ms. Kim Bradley. Her topic is public safety. Is Ms. Bradley here? Ms. Kim Bradley. Our next speaker is Dominique Judge. Her topic is Glock 40 Initiative, speaking for.
Good evening. Last month, I came to you and addressed gun violence in my neighborhood and asked for action to be made to make our community safer. The Group Violence Intervention Team, GVI for short, answered that call with making my neighborhood the first stop on their G40 initiative, founded by Deputy Chief Warrior. The G40 initiative their goal is to reclaim 40 blocks of Pine Bluff back from gun violence by bringing the community together to clean up abandoned homes and vacant lots, assisting neighbors in need, and assuring safe lighting and clean streets and promoting a police presence. This last Saturday, July 13th, the GVI team and volunteers came together to clean 10 blocks from 17th Avenue to 24th Avenue, Poplar to Olive. We did quite a bit of work, and I just want to thank the GVI team, led by Supervisor Deputy Chief Warrior, Code Enforcement, the Street Department, the Mayor's Office, the Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, State Police, the Sixth Court District Judge Brown, Animal Control, the Family Church of Pine Bluff, and City Maintenance Department, and all of the citizens who came together to make that possible and give our 10 blocks a fresh start, and hope that we can actually be the city of progress that we claim to be.
Thank you. Let's
Yes.
give her a round of applause. Of a good, positive initiative. It's something to celebrate. And we want you to know that the evening that you came and spoke before the council, we did take that very seriously. And one of the things that we were proud of after you left was we saw that your area would be covered with that initiative, which was already being planned. And we thank you so much. Many times people will see good positive things happening in the neighborhood, but they won't say anything. So we appreciate you coming back, sharing the positives that you have observed in the community, and we hope that this transition will continue to transform our city.
Absolutely. I
Thank
look
you so
forward to
much.
continuing moving forward. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Our next speaker is Reverend Roosevelt Brown. I think I saw him leave. He was here, but he may have had to leave. Okay. That concludes our speakers for this evening. That concludes our meeting for this evening. Thank you all so much for being here. We'll see you again at the August 1st meeting.
Some music.
What time is it?
7:07.
Is that decent?
Got to video. He got
Is
to
that
get some
decent?
music. He got to get a soundtrack.
Thank you all for adding all that stuff, because I thought we had this.